It's the year of 1912. In the Balkans, also called the powder keg of Europe, tensions were at a high level. We are before the First World War, in the last years of the Ottoman Empire, and of their deep rule in continental Europe. In October 1912, a new war will start. The identity of the Balkan region was dominated by its geographical position. Since the ancient times, the area was known as a crossroads of culture and civilization. This area has been a bridge between the Latin and Greek parts of the Roman Empire. Also, it was the final destination of an important influx of migrators, Bulgars and Slavs. In the Middle Age, the region became an area where the two branches of Christianity met. Orthodox and Catholic people met since the Great Schism. After a few centuries, the region will contact a new religion and a new culture under the rule of the Ottomans. Their first ruler was Osman, which will be known as Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. It's not known for sure how small an Anatolian beylik started to dominate the region, but the vulnerability of the Byzantine Empire created the situation for them to expand. They passed into Europe, defeating local leaders and taking profit from the instability of the region. By the year 1400, the Ottomans were a true power, having control of much of the Balkans and western Anatolia. For the next centuries, the Ottoman Empire will expand even further and will rule the Balkans for more than 400 years. The majority of the people living in the area were Christians, speaking a different language, having another culture. The differences between the Turkish culture and the Balkan ones were huge. The Ottomans reached their peak in the 16th century, but in the next ones, their military system fell behind that of their European rivals. The Sultanate suffered military defeats in the 18th and 19th centuries. Also, rebellions started to happen, especially due to the rise of nationalism, a popular sentiment which changed the history of Europe. 19th century was a period of rebellions in the Balkans. Serbs, Greeks, Romanians, Bulgarians, and others revolted in a way or another against the Ottoman rule. Greeks declared their independence in 1821, and it was recognized in 1830. Also independence of Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro, and a semi-independence for Bulgaria was recognized in 1878 after a war, even if some of these countries declared their freedom sooner. By 1908, Bulgaria was recognized as fully independent. Tensions among the Balkan states over their rival aspirations to the provinces of Ottoman-controlled Rumelia, namely Eastern Rumelia, Thrace, and Macedonia, subsided, somewhat following intervention by the great powers in the mid-19th century, aimed at securing both more complete protection for the province's Christian majority and protection of the status quo. Even if these nations gained their long-desired achievements through their independence, Ottoman rule was still there over some of these people. Bulgarians, Serbians, Greeks, and others were left outside their motherland in this territory, still controlled by the Ottomans. Tensions existed between Serbia and Bulgaria over some territories. Serbia's aspirations to take over Bosnia and Herzegovina were thwarted by the Bosnian crisis and the Austrian annexation of the province in October 1908. After the unification of Eastern Rumelia, Bulgaria began to dream to its national unification. A large army was developed, but Bulgaria could not win a war alone against the Ottomans. On March 13, 1912, Serbia and Bulgaria signed a treaty which assigned Northern Macedonia to Serbia and Southern Macedonia to Bulgaria. In May 1912, Greece and Bulgaria signed a similar treaty, making use of the military actions against their common enemy. Montenegro's attachment to the League was secured by an informal arrangement with Bulgaria and Greece, and a treaty with Serbia concluded in September 1912. But Bulgaria refused to commit to any agreement on the distribution of territorial gains, unlike its deal with Serbia over Macedonia. Bulgaria believed that its army would be able to occupy the larger part of Macedonia and the important port city, Thessaloniki, before the Greeks. In 1911, Italy had launched an invasion of Tripolitania, in present-day Libya, the Italians' decisive military victories over the Ottoman Empire. This and the repressive policies of the Young Turks encouraged the Balkan League to imagine they might win a war against the Ottomans and achieve their desire to liberate their people. The first to declare war was Montenegro on the 8th of October, 1912. An ultimatum was sent to Istanbul on the 13th of October. Bulgaria, Serbia, and Greece declared war on the empire on the 17th of October. The Ottoman order of battle when the war broke out constituted a total of 12,000 officers, 324,000 other ranks, 47,960 animals, 2,318 artillery pieces, and 388 machine guns. On the other side, Bulgaria mobilized around 600,000 men, Serbia around 255,000, Greece around 120,000, and Montenegro around 40,000 men. In the west, in the theater of Sanjak, the Serbs and Montenegrins coordinate their efforts. More to the center, the Bulgarians and Serbs focus together in the Macedonia. The main theater of the ensuing conflict was Thrace. The Bulgarian armies went south and besieged the major Ottoman fortress at Adrianople, called Edirne. This siege was important. Adrianople was an important city for the Ottomans. It existed since ancient times, and its importance existed in the Byzantine times as well. The siege of the city had historical meanings. Adrianople, a major Byzantine city in Thrace, was conquered by the Ottomans sometime in the 1360s, and became the Ottoman capital until the fall of Constantinople in 1453. The fall of the city after some months since the start of the siege can be seen as the downfall of the Ottoman rule in the Balkan region. Two major victories were at Kirk Kilis and at Lul Burgas. This one was the largest battle of this war, and a decisive victory of the Bulgarians. In just a short period of time, these successes opened up the gates to Constantinople, the Ottoman capital. The Turkish rallied at the Çatalca, the last lines of defense before their capital. An attack was made by the Bulgarian forces, already exhausted after important and hard battles. On the 17th of November, the attack failed, and from that time on, both sides settled into trench warfare. Elsewhere, the Serbian army broke the Western Ottoman army at Kumanovo on the 23rd of October. The Serbs then proceeded against diminishing resistance into Macedonia, Kosovo, and on through Albania, reaching the Adriatic coast in December. Even if the Greek army wasn't the biggest, however, Greece was the only Balkan country to possess a substantial navy. This was vital to the League, as it could prevent Ottoman reinforcements from being rapidly transferred by ship from Asia to Europe. The Greek army advanced in two directions. In the Battle of Giannitsa, Greek armies were led by the Crown Prince Constantine and won a very important victory, having as a result the capture of Thessaloniki on the 8th of November. The city was wanted by Bulgarians, who expected to capture it before the Greeks. Upon hearing about the Greek success, Bulgarian High Command urgently dispatched a division from the north in the direction of the city. The division arrived there a week later. Further west, in the Epirus front, the Greek army was initially heavily outnumbered, but due to the passive attitude of the Ottomans, pushed north after the victory at the Battle of Bazani in March 1913. Montenegrin forces moved into the Sanjak of Novi Pazar and besieged the northern Albanian town of Scutari. The Ottomans signed an armistice with Bulgaria, Montenegro, and Serbia on the 3rd of December. Greek military operations continued. By this time, Ottoman rule was limited to the three besieged towns of Adrianople, Janina, and Scutari, the Gallipoli Peninsula, and eastern Thrace behind the Çatalca lines. While fighting took place at Adrianople, Scutari, and Janina, the armistice was signed, and a peace conference met at London in December 1912. As a result of the Ottoman collapse, groups of Albanian nobles, supported by Austria and Italy, declared Albanian independence on the 28th of November 1912. A coup on the 23rd of January 1913 returned a young Turk government to power in Constantinople. This government was determined to continue the war, mainly in order to retain Adrianople. It denounced the armistice on the 30th of January. Hostilities recommended to the detriment of the Ottomans. Janina fell to the Greeks on the 6th of March, and Adrianople to the Bulgarians on the 26th of March. Meanwhile, in London, peace negotiations resulted in the Preliminary Treaty of London, signed on the 30th of May, 1913, between the Balkan allies and the Ottoman Empire. By this treaty, the Ottoman Empire in Europe consisted of only a narrow band of territory in eastern Thrace, close to their capital. In the war, Ottoman army was quickly and decisively defeated, as the Balkan forces drove the Turks from almost all of their territory in the southeastern Europe over the course of a month. Of course, there were Ottoman victories too, but with less impact. The internal problem of the Ottomans, the instability of some territories, the wars and exhaustion of the Ottoman state, as well as the large and vulnerable borders in Europe contributed to their defeat in the end. At peace conferences over the course of the next several months, an agreement was reached. Macedonia was partitioned between the victors of the First Balkan War. The peace concluded on May 30th, 1913. But the story of the Balkan Wars does not end there. Bulgaria wasn't so happy. They imported territories but felt cheated out of their claims by Serbia and Greece. This will be the foundation stone for the next Balkan War. A big thank you to our patrons for their generous support. Also a big thank you to you for watching this video. If you liked it and are not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be the first one notified when a new history video is uploaded.